Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto, Willies, your host. Thank you so kind for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. Welcome to Friday. It's December. Everything is kind of slow. People are kind of slowing down. Kind of hot in here too. Turn the heater down. Anyway, folks, we're going to have a great show for you today. Have one video that cut up from this morning. But other than that, let's talk. Anyway, AVQ is in the house. Welcome, AVQ from Brooklyn, New York. We also have no, that looks like a scam. We also have Jay Ray in the house, or her brother Ray is in the house. May Wood from Long Beach, California is in the house. Lee Grant from Montgomery County is in the house. Jay Ray from Houston is in the house. E2247 from all over is in the house. Eric Hayes from Tascasita Kingwood is in the house. We also have, did I miss anybody? Where is our lady? I don't see our lady yet, which is Yvette Avery Herod. Where is she? And of course, I need to give our girl in New York a call. Bridge MCP. I think we're still kind of getting over the diseased. Well, I won't go there. Anyhow, folks, welcome aboard to Politics and Right. We're going to have a good time today. Michael Rudnin says, Common Dream says, U.S. plutocrats. $276 billion richer since Trump win, and GOP wants to give them even more. Americans for Tax Fairness noted that the collective net worth of the nation's billionaires jumped $276 billion. It's not $276 billion. It increased by $276 billion November 4th, the day before the election, and November 12th. Elon Musk, the world's wealthiest man and a Trump confidant, accounted for 20% of that total billionaire wealth surge, with his net worth growth by $57 billion in just a week. Isn't it great how much money you can make for doing absolutely nothing? And some people defend these guys. I have callers in the morning and some of you in the chat that think that is okay. That thinks getting wealth for doing absolutely nothing is an economic system that is worthwhile. There are other systems where you actually are compensated for your worth. Elon Musk is running around with Donald Trump, talking a whole lot of BS, things that he doesn't know about. And from running around the country doing nothing. He doesn't understand Social Security. He doesn't understand Medicare. He doesn't have the mental acuity to understand those things. But for that, he's made $57 billion. Americans for Tax Fairness found the U.S. billionaire wealth is now at an all-time high of $6.7 trillion. A fact that hasn't deterred Republican lawmakers from pursuing additional tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans, which they may want to pay for it. Look, we can solve a lot of problems by taking some of that money. They didn't earn it. It just happened. A fraudulent economic system created that money out of poof. We can also say, oh, since the economic system created that money out of poof, we should actually take some of that poof. Don't you think? My God, folks, why is it that these guys have such a mental an enslavement on the minds of so many, as if they're worth that? And this isn't wealth envy. This is simply acknowledging the fraud that is the economic system. All right, Michael says, Egberto, I'm feeling a need to bring one back from last month. The New Republic, the Democrats can't afford to ignore climate change ever again. Kamala Harris chose to stay silent on climate change. Activists mostly let her, and now the White House and likely both houses of Congress will be controlled by climate deniers. I want to stop there because I want to be frank. Look, we can talk about climate being the reason she lost, Palestinian issues being the reason she lost. We can put all of those things and say all those things, that is not why Kamala Harris lost in the aggregate. We needed all those white women that were going to be harmed by Donald Trump to vote appropriately. That is the key right there. If these women had just voted their interests and not their racism and their prejudice, their sexism, Kamala would have been president. Now, when we talk about, well, she should have talked about climate change, I would wager that had she spoken about climate change, that the amount of people she lost versus the amount of people she gained would have been negligible, or even they would have turned it into some cataclysmic reason not to elect her. That she's this pinko progressive liberal that they couldn't elect. It drives me crazy to watch the news and watch how everybody is off on a tangent. What should Kamala have done? Kamala could have done nothing right. And until we get that into our brains, not because a lot of progressives here are benevolent and they believe in the sanctity of womanhood and also that race shouldn't matter. I know a lot of our progressives, that's how they are, but they try to reflect that onto others. If you doubt, listen to our brother PDR Posse member Patrick Magner. Listen to the conversations he's had with his friends, the conversation he's had with the people he work with. We have to get to the core of why Kamala lost. And it has nothing to do with climate change. It has nothing to do with the Palestinian issue. All these are grave issues that we would have loved her to speak on those issues. Had she spoken on those issues more profusely, she would have lost even worse. Understand the cancer in this country, people. Understand the cancer in this country. That is the only way we would, in the future, get a Kamala Harris, or I shouldn't even say Kamala Harris, but that's the only way we're going to get a progressive elected. We have to take care of the cancer. We have to go into the hoods. We have to go into the rural areas. We have to make ourselves acceptable to the whole American population. And that means acceptable racially, sexually, and every other matter, gender-wise. I mean, we have to do the work. But sitting down there and think, if we had just come up with climate change policy, if we had just come up with some other policy, that would have magically brought Kamala over the line. No, look at our audience in the chat. Look at how some people are blinded, are blind towards, look at how, and even in our chat, you can see the racism in our chat. You can see the sexism in our chat. And these are our PDR Posse members. Let's get real. There is a cancer in this society, and it has nothing to do with liberal, progressive. Most Americans are progressives. But once you add those other factors in there, they vote against progressivity because, again, that cancer in the brain, that cancer in the mind prevents them from making logical choices. And many of them can't see it. I have a caller in the morning. He's mentally enslaved, but he can't see it. Why? Because he's mentally enslaved. So I work with him and I work with him and I work with him. That someday something is going to penetrate his skull to actually see that, hey, you are worthy, brother. You are worthy. You don't need an Elon Musk who really isn't worthy. And that is where we got to get, folks. So, Michael, I get that message about climate change. I agree with it. We need to handle climate change, and we need to elect people about climate change. But we're not going to do it until we get into their minds. All right. Michael Radden says, Google, according to recent climate data, the Earth has experienced a period of 17 consecutive months where the global average temperature exceeded 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, marking a concerning milestone indicating a sustained period of significant warming. It's worse. My plum tree has tried to sprout twice, has tried to flower twice, because it's trying to flower now in the winter. and we're likely to get a freeze in 2 weeks. So because we've been so hot over the winter, that plant hasn't been able to fruit. It can't fruit in the new weather conditions that we have. It's no longer a plant that can survive here because, again, as soon as it thinks it's time to fruit, it freezes. And then when it freezes, that cycle for fruiting misses the summer where it would normally fruit because all those buds are dying. And then it comes back to the winter and it starts to think it needs to fruit, but it can't fruit because it can't stay alive long enough. It's crazy. You are so right, Rodnan, but what can we do? All right, let's continue. Fetterman says says President Biden's pardon was appropriate and should also be afforded to President-elect Donald Trump, not to Trump at all. Trump is a criminal thug. He doesn't deserve a pardon. All right, let's see what else we have. E2247 says, sign the open letter urging Congress to take 100-day pledge for sites. I like that. He has the link there, so go ahead and sign that up, folks. Bada Wills, how are you doing? Or from Hawaii, from Michigan. What is HI? Bada Wills from HI from Michigan. Does that mean you're from Hawaii and Michigan? Oh, no. Hi from Michigan. What's wrong with me? Hi from Michigan. Welcome aboard, Bada Wills. Thank you for being here, my dear sister. Bo Campbell. Hey, Bo, I haven't heard from you in a long time, my brother. How are you doing? Bo Campbell, great person. Been listening to Politics Done Right from the day it used to be with Coffee Party USA. All right. Great to see you, Bo Campbell. Great to see. Love seeing some old folks around. We could pull our money out of the stock market. Yep. You probably should. But, right now we are on a crazy sugar high. Egberto must cut Twitter by 80% and it runs better now. If you think Twitter runs better now, Twitter is a cesspool because we don't have any kind of monitors. 80%. So if you believe that, by the way, I got a bridge to sell you. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Kamala Harris went on wrong media show The View instead of Rogan. Why would she go on Rogan? What would Rogan have done? Rogan would have tried to forget it. Again, you just proved my point. All right, let's see. Bo Campbell says, I think she lost because of race. Of course she did, Bo, you're right. The incidents in LA worked against us as well as the gay community latching directly onto the candidate. They used all of this against the Democratic nominee. Not her fault, not any of these groups' fault. 70% of white America is responsible for this. Yeah, look, white America voted against their own interests because of racism and sexism. While they would like to blame Latino men, or blame a few black men, the truth of the matter is that is not what did it. If you want the people that are most negatively gonna be affected by Trump, black people, Latinos are screwed by the system naturally. So to be screwed one more time isn't a learning experience for them. It isn't something that black people, Latinos, Asians don't understand. They understand a system that sees them, that doesn't see them, a system that harms them, a system that gives them second-class status. They live that reality every day. The people that are going to suffer are the same people who made the differential in electing Donald Trump, and that's white women. Okay? Well, white women, white men, again, Latinos and black people and Asians, they would have already suffered anyway. But others have used their racism to hurt themselves. That's the kind of cancer that racism and sexism is. I don't want to hear about economics. People are spending their gazoo. People's wages are growing faster than inflation. And therefore, if it continues growing faster than inflation for 4 or 5 years, they would have made up and gone beyond the loss that they had that Trump's inflation took out of them. But again, people don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the truth. They want to lie to themselves and believe it. Let me just show you my brother Lee Grant, supporter. But again, he has a race problem. Kamala did lose because of race. Some thought she wasn't black enough. What does being black enough have to do with the election? No. The only people that had that problem, well, you know who they are. All right, welcome aboard, Nina Fulenbach Lowry. Great to see you here, my beautiful Nina Fulenbach Lowry. I think this is the first time I've ever called out your name. That's why I've had some problems calling out your name. Thank you for being here. Please keep being here. Please share and remember to tell folks, come on, this is a welcoming place for everybody, absolutely everybody. Anyway, folks. If we are going to change this country, and this is what I told a friend of mine, one of the board of directors at Pacifica, we were talking, and we got into talking about race. She's a white woman. And I said, look, we are going to have that talk because she just couldn't understand why another white woman was giving her sort of an issue. And what happened is this other white woman was pretty well enlightened, right? And she said, well, I don't know, really, I don't kind of understand her because I don't think it's just that. And that was the issue of why white men predominantly will never vote Democratic or vote on the average so little for Democrats. And that, we're talking, I don't know, probably only 40% of white men at a max would vote for the Democratic candidate. And that is because the Republican Party has effectively made the Democratic Party look like it's a party for, not a party for black people or gay people or whatever, but they have made white men believe it's a party that's out to get them. And they've done a good job at that. The Republican Party have done a great job in making white men believe there's a party out there out to get them and that society is out to get them. And so I looked at it and I said, but the person to get to white men are the same people that Donald Trump's going to harm, white women. Why? Look, it is hard to fathom that most CEOs in this country are white men. Most of the billionaires in this country are white men. Most of all the wealth in this country are owned by white men. Most of the higher jobs in this country goes to white men. How can white men ever believe that their position, not that it should be there, but that their position is in jeopardy? I mean, the psychology of fear, the psychology of victimhood that the Republican Party has been able to place on white men, in a lot of ways, make those white men who succumb to that, suspect. Gerald Meacham says, I'm a 66-year-old white man who is a lifelong progressive. And, brother, I give kudos to you. You have a big job to do. You have to help your white brothers start to understand you, right? Start to understand your wisdom, understand who you are and why you're right. Because again, they're fearful. A lot of your white brothers are fearful. And let me knock some of my Latino and black brothers, more so Latinos than the black ones, though. The ones that still succumb to women somehow going to take over or the Democratic Party is made for women. Again, look at the leadership of the Democratic Party. But even if the leadership of the Democratic Party suddenly became all women, what's the problem? Haven't men been there for quite a while? So what? And did they complain? So why not have them lead? Why not have them president? Why not have them vice president? And I'm using those as verbs. I've turned those nouns into verbs. It's time for women anyway. I mean, look at the countries that have been run by women. Look at how effective they were in controlling the COVID epidemic, much more so than having a charlatan like Donald Trump, a fraud like Donald Trump, who got a lot of Americans killed. Think about that. David Garreau says, I like, but she should run for senator first. Representatives don't get elected to the presidency. Who are we talking about now? Who are we talking about, David Garreau? I missed something. All right. Gerald Meehan says, I read that one already. Okay, we also have Eric K says, will Washington get a trimming via Dodge? No, they won't. Republicans have never cut the budget. Republicans have the largest deficits of all parties. Republicans always run the largest deficits. Republicans are always fiscally irresponsible. If you doubt it, just look at the numbers. You don't have to listen to me. Just go watch the numbers. Republicans are always fiscally irresponsible. Are our white men so easily succumb to this because in their bones, those who accept entitlement, they know they unfairly have power. Thus, they are fearful. They did nothing to deserve it. You know, I can attest to working in corporate America and seeing that wholehandedly. I do the work, they get the credit, right? And look, when we talk about this, we're not talking about all our white brothers now. We're talking about those that cower. I mean, I can name you all my white brothers in the Democratic Party that are kicking ass. They go out there and they're performing. They don't care if women are in power, blacks are in power. They don't give a damn about that. They just want things done right. And they are productive citizens in this United States. But the ones you see crying, the ones you see complaining are many times the ones who cannot hold their own. You know, and that's a problem in America right now. That's why many are not going to school. When many are, it is just the way it is right now, right? But anyway, you're talking about AOC, David. No, AOC not trying to be president. AOC is trying to take over the committee that's going to do some work on Donald Trump's, the malfeasance that we expect. So she's trying to head the committee. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I tell you what, I'll start with. Let me start with the video that I did this morning at KPFT that I played. I fixed up some of the stuff that Brother Jack Van Beber did. Let's go ahead and play that, and then I'll be right back.
Jack, he has a page of wisdom, and we've already got a caller here, so let me go grab that.
All right, yeah. Brother Jack.
Good morning, Egberto.
Good morning, my brother. How you doing this morning?
I think it's really important to expose the scam that is Medicare Advantage. Blow this issue to the citizens and bring lawfare against the insurance companies that profit off of people's misery as they deny their patients' need for treatment. There is one major problem with bringing a lawsuit against the take advantage of you insurance companies. The Supreme Court of the United States has been corrupted by Citizens United, which gave corporate interests their priority. And the first thing that must be done is balance the Supreme Court, or the citizens are dead in the water, with a Supreme Court that will choose corporate profit over the well-being of its citizens. Bringing down Medicare Advantage would be a good start at exposing the corporate abuses of citizen patients by the healthcare industrial complex.
Since Jack brought up an important thing, the important thing that the deadline for signing up for Medicare Advantage is the 7th. And there are so many people that are being hoodwinked into changing the traditional Medicare that they have to Medicare Advantage because they see the overall cost, the immediate monthly cost to them drop sometimes if they take Medicare Advantage. not realizing what's going on. Well, yesterday I wrote a paper on Medicare Advantage where I pointed out that every time you sign up for Medicare Advantage, that insurance company gets $12,000. So whenever you go ahead and sign that insurance, and I call them crooked because they are selling something that is making you, not good for you. Whenever they make that sale, that there's $12,000 that insurance company is sure to receive, and there are additional benefits they get if they code your illnesses right, etc. But also that immediate person that's selling you get a few thousands as well. And, so when they take you out to breakfast and when they take you out to dinner, you notice they'll take 10, 12, 15 of you to dinner or whatever, that insurance agent. And some of you will sign up. He's got himself or herself a windfall at your expense going forward, because many times when you find out that the Medicare Advantage you bought not only is private insurance, not government-based insurance, but you can't easily get back to government insurance because at that point you can't afford the Medigap that pays the 20% from Medicare. They've already screwed your life. But let me tell you what hurt me the most yesterday after going through a lot of reading. Our brother, Tom Hartman, who, has the Tom Hartman show, he wrote a paper as well. And he posted that paper on Substack. And, those of us doing this kind of work, we are trying to inform people about, the things that, many people don't have the time to research on their own. So Tom Hartman pointed out all the bad things that Medicare Advantage represents. And then there are a bunch of these people. And remember, Medicare Advantage is a private system. The purpose of Medicare Advantage isn't to cure you or to give you health care. That is just a side benefit. These investment companies create these insurance companies to make a buck on whatever they sell, whether it be oranges, whether it be cars, whatever. They are there to make a buck. And I don't have a problem making a buck. But making a profit on your health is an issue because your health is secondary to the profit. And these are the things that Tom Hartman tried to explain in his paper. And it sickened me to watch our false sense of individualism, our false sense of what's right just for us and not for us, the individual, and not us, the collective, all of us. I saw too many stories of older folks going and saying, well, I love my Medicare Advantage. When I had Medicare alone, I had to get a supplementary from a dental and hearing and etc. While I pay less and I get all of that with Medicare Advantage. And that's all that they see, that their upfront costs is less. They don't see that they may have deductibles. They don't see that the medication that they may need that doctor prefers for them is denied by the insurance company. And by the way, denied by the insurance company doesn't mean you first ask the insurance companies. In my paper, I wrote that 7.4% of all pre-authorizations are denied. And that's a high number, but it's less than the 20% I had spoken about in the video that I did. But the reality is doctors know what pre-authorization is going to do. So instead of prescribing you medicine A, they may prescribe you medicine B because they know it won't go through pre-authorization. So that pre-authorization number looks lower than it really is. Because again, the doctors know, well, I can't give them that because that darn insurance company is not going to approve this. So there's a lot of negative things happening. But the way we are such suckers, and I say that with respect. And I say that, though, because the insurance companies know that they put the commercials on with smiling people and smiling agents, and we buy it up. We buy the production up that, my God, these companies care about us. They're giving us a good product. No company who sells you insurance for healthcare can possibly give you a good product or give you a better product than your government can give you. And the reason why is whatever money they spend is less money than they got for that service. The government provides much more efficient services for all of us in healthcare than a private company can, because they don't have, remember, you see all those advertising that you see on TV, one after the other. Those are very expensive ads that you see for Medicare Advantage on TV. Those ads are expensive, and you get it on TV, on radio, in your mail. They spend billions of dollars trying to get you to sign up for Medicare Advantage. Shouldn't that tell you something? Shouldn't that tell you that if they're paying all that money to get you into private insurance, how much of a ripoff it is? Because they are paying for advertising. They're paying their executives millions of dollars a year. They're paying the insurance salesperson who gets you into that cabal. They are paying that insurance companies thousands of dollars for each person they bring in. Doesn't that tell you that that is money that they are not going to put into your healthcare, because they must make a profit for their shareholders? They must make their bonuses and all of that. Math is absolute. 1 + 1 will always equal to 2. 10 minus 5 will always equal to 5. 10 minus 4 will always equal to 6. And if they're spending all that money in advertising, that's money they're not going to spend on you. And the government doesn't have to spend a penny in advertising, which means all that money goes to you. Our problem in healthcare is not that we can't afford it, or it's not that it's expensive. It's that it's inefficient, because the private sector is inefficient in handling healthcare. Because healthcare is not like buying a car where you can go into a lot and say, choice number 1, choice number 2, choice number 3, choice number 4. Healthcare is, if you have cancer, you need to get it out. If you have some sort of a disease, you have to rid yourself of said disease. It's not like anything else. And everybody who says, I love my Medicare Advantage because it is good for you in that particular instant, stops you from critically thinking. One of the things we have to do as a society is critically think. Because something is good today doesn't mean it is good for you. When you drink, have you ever got antifreeze on your hands and just got a whiff and taste on it? It tastes good. Antifreeze is sugary, and you just put a tab on your tongue and it's sweet. It's good. But will you drink antifreeze? Will you have a lot of antifreeze? No. And that's the problem with Medicare Advantage. It tastes sweet in the beginning, but it'll kill you. Now, a lot of people are already on it, and people would say, well, what are we to do? Well, instead of going online and telling people how good your particular Medicare Advantage is, help all of us trying to make a system that works for everybody. We have to critically think that it could be us. It could be the individual who, when we get a particular illness, that Medicare Advantage company says, no, we have to be our brothers and sisters keeper. We have to be not only for what's good for us at that instant in time, we have to be what's good for all of us permanently. And Medicare Advantage is the biggest scam there is. And it's something that we must rid ourselves of. But let me tell you better. 50% of Americans are now on Medicare Advantage, or probably a little north of 50%. If we were to rid ourselves of Medicare Advantage, we could make a better Medicare, and that better Medicare would pay the 20% that it doesn't pay right now. After I handle the calls, I want to tell you something about some numbers. But before, people, I know for a lot of seniors, saving a few dollars feels good. Getting a bit groceries purchased for you makes you feel like you're getting something. You're not. That groceries that they buy for you, all the taxpayers that are paying into Medicare are paying that bill. That bill, that insurance company gets your groceries or reduce XYZ. All the people paying into Medicare are the ones paying that bill. And later on, when you need the best care, that Medicare Advantage will not be there for you because, again, their sole purpose is not your health care. Their sole purpose is to make monies for their shareholders and bonuses for their executives. And I wish we could inculcate that, stamp that into people's minds. You know, when I came to the United States, at the time that I came, we were at the peak of, not what the peak should have been, but we were at a peak of progressiveness, right? In other words, progressive values were really kicking ass. And then came Reagan. And, suddenly, Reagan came with his brand of, making progressive look terrible. And then we have the next stupid thing called woke. I want you to think about this. All these people that are anti-woke, right? They don't understand that what they're saying is they want to be asleep. Woke simply means being aware of everything that's happening as you should. But like we say, these folks like to teach you not to think critically. They want you to be dumb. And Donald Trump is happy to say it. I want dumb people. My followers are dumb. I want people to be dumb. Not me saying it. You're fewer. You're fewer saying that. Fewer. How do you say that? You're fewer is saying that. Anyway, Patrick Magner is in the house. Hey, Patrick, he says, meow. Gerald Meehan says, I had no choice. I was forced into Medicare Advantage or no coverage on. I know. Here's the funny thing about it, right? There are even some of the the labor unions that are buying into this Medicare Advantage thing to save money, right? But again, they're sacrificing the workers instead of fighting for a true universal healthcare system. We're taking bits and pieces of what we can get. No, we have to fight, not cower and say, okay, this is all we can get in the case of healthcare. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. Paul Fleming says, oh, by the way, if you are stuck in Medicare Advantage, I'm sorry. If you're still healthy, you may be able to go ahead and transfer back to traditional Medicare, pay maybe a couple $100 more to get a Medigap plan that includes Part D, which is the drugs in Medicare, as well as some ears, and what's the other organ? Eyes, ears, and dental coverage, right? If you're healthy, you'll still be able to afford the Medigap. If you're unhealthy, you're stuck. Now, a lot of people would take the chance and say, I'll just go to Medicare anyway, since I can see any doctor. And for the 20% that I owe, I'll go ahead and either make the doctor, work for it. But I tell you the other thing that I'm thinking of. I would like in the long run, until we get this stuff changed, to tell everybody to go ahead and get Medicare Advantage. Welcome, Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain. Or rather, get that tradition, not Medicare Advantage, the traditional Medicare. And then create a fund that covers the 20% for those people who just don't have the money, right? In other words, not necessarily pay the 20% that they do, but have a fund that helps them with their, have a cooperative that helps them with buying the Medigap until we get rid of Medigap and everything else, so that we just have government paid single payer healthcare. I would love to get there. I would love to be able to organize something like that. Look, the simplest answer right now is to get everybody out of Medicare Advantage. If the government doesn't help, for us to create a national fund that buys a Medigap plan in bulk, right? And then move on from there. Paul Fleming says, I want to put $22 billion in profits for United Healthcare into perspective. If we took the top defense contractors' profits and added them up. Lockheed, $6.92 billion. RTX, $5.6 billion. General Dynamics, $3.4 billion. Boeing, $6.6 billion. That comes to $22.5 billion. United Healthcare by itself makes as much money as the biggest contractors in the world combined. Y'all want to talk about industrial complexes? Let's talk about the healthcare industrial complex. There will be no Ask Egberto tomorrow. We'll have it the week after. I have a Houston Peace and Justice Center spiller. Hey, by the way, I forgot to mention that to our Houstonians. Both to those of you in Houston, you should come. Both Ray and Patrick should come. Maybe I should look up that address and tell you where we're meeting. And it's our Christmas party / meeting that we should have. Let me go ahead as I speak here to try to find that thing here. But anyway, let's see. I saw something from Brother Tom Zarnick. Where is it? I'm looking for it, Tom. I don't think. Okay, Tom says, agree with Bernie. DOD should look at DOD to cut wasteful spending. Use savings to pass Medicare for all. Also, Elon should cut all the government subsidies he gets from Tesla, SpaceX, and Starlink. Oh, wow. Maybe that'll be, you know what? So funny. Suppose Trump decided to get and say to himself, maybe I should try to do something to mitigate the evil that I represented for a long time. Maybe I should try to do something to mitigate the evil that I am. Think about this. I mean, if he were to do that, my God, maybe something good could come out of this after all. You think he would? All right, let's see real quick. The Houston Peace and Justice Center is going to be having our Christmas party, but before, I have to go in early for our board meeting. But I tell you what, Patrick and Ray, I'm going to send you guys a letter. I'm going to make a list of our Houston guys and come out there. I'll send you that invite. I should have thought about that already, because we want you to be members of the Peace and Justice Center. We want both of you to be members of the Peace and Justice Center. So I'll send that out to you. And we got a short limerick from Tom. But before, and it goes this way. Let me get to Tom's limerick. Where is Tom's limerick? Tom, where are you? Here we go. The president of South Korea, named Yoon, may be out of his ass very soon. Try to overthrow democracy, make the government autocracy. But the people said no to this Trumpy goon. Wow. That is short. That is tight. And that is on point. Man, Tom, you're good, brother. You're good. I hope you would just write a book and do that. Actually, you know, Eric said something right. You know what? Eric is right. And Eric, you know something? Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you for pointing that out, Eric. That is terrible of me. You're in Houston too. I am going to send you, I'm going to add you to the email, and I'm going to add brother, how, you see how muscle memory behave, guys? You see how muscle memory works? I want to give a distinct apology to brother Eric Hayes as well as Lee Grant, because both of you are in fact in my area. And if I'm having, and that it's my organization, and not my organization, organization that I'm on the board. And if we were having something, the right thing for me to do is to invite all of those that are here locally. Thank you, Eric. You're right. I failed there. I failed. I have to put my mouth where my money is, or my money where my mouth is. That's true. Anyhow, why are you telling me to go work out? What the hell are you talking about? All right. Tom could do weekly current event publication of his limericks. I know. I mean, to tell you the truth, I would go ahead and, highlight the publishing of that guy pretty much, So yeah, I like that. He's a gem. What can I say? Tom is a gem. I mean, he makes our days with those limericks. Anyway, we are at 3:51. Anybody wants to call in right now? The number is 281-823-7747. The number is 281-823-7747. Let me hear from one of you, because I don't have anything else to talk about. Well, I always have something to talk about, but I'd rather have you guys direct it right this minute. So give me a call, somebody. 281-823-7747. And also we'll test out if it works, because remember, we had some problems yesterday. And I am not sure, I didn't particularly work on working it out other than rebooting the system. Today has been such a busy day. Michael, I know. But you know what, Michael? You've never called us either. You are a warrior behind the keyboard, but we've never heard your voice. You're a warrior behind that keyboard, though. Can always count on you. All right, I'm waiting for that call. 281-823-7747. I know somebody's going to call. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm hurt. Where are my calls? 281-823-7747. Who's gonna person up and call and tell me something for the weekend? Michael says, I prefer text rather than call in, but I have called in for about 10 seconds to tell you the sound was mute. I think I remember that. Okay, let's see what we got here. Valencia Peters. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. No calls yet. Or is it that my phone system is not working? I think it's working. Saved by Patrick Magner. How you doing, Patrick?
Doing good. I'm on a date, so I'm not going to talk much, but I was going to help you test your system and make sure it was working okay.
I can always count on you, my brother. And yes, you just proved that it is in fact working. So thank you very much for testing it out. And whoever you're on a date with, let them know that I think that they are on a date with one of the better people in Houston, Texas. All right.
All right. Hey,
thank you, man.
What time and what location tomorrow?
I think it's 12:30. I'm going to send you the location and everything in an email, both to you. I'm going to make a list of you guys and send it in an email. Don't worry, it'll all be blind copied. So no, I won't be messing with anybody's stuff. Okay, so I'll send it to you. Sounds good, brother. All right.
Okay. Have a great day.
You too, my brother. Peace. Thank you for calling. All right, let's see what else we got here. What else have we got here? Anybody else want to call? I've got 6 minutes. Anybody else wants to call? 281-823-7747. I know Brother Ray's on the job, so he can't quite call right now. Okay. Let's see what else I'm going to talk about. Rudnan is gone. He can't take the jabbering anymore, so he says, I'm gone. All right, folks. Look. I want to ask a favor. Please share all of these programs on whether it's a YouTube version or all the others. Paul Fleming says, something is deeply wrong with the healthcare system in the richest country in the world. Hint, when a patient chooses to endure a heart attack rather than pay $2,500 for ambulance transport to the cath lab due to concerns about their insurance coverage. This is unheard of in socialist Europe. You know something? I have that experience myself. I have 3 minutes to tell you that story. 3 minutes. I won't have time this weekend, Eric. Maybe next week. check this out, guys. Check this out. I was at the KPFT station. I used to have my show at night, at 10 at night. And I am at the station and I didn't feel good. I felt kind of jittery. Okay, I got a caller in. Let's go. All right. Who do I have the honor of speaking with after I started telling my story?
Hi, my name is Joanna Silva from Los Angeles. I have a long COVID, so I didn't want to call that. I wanted to say hi and thank you for what you do.
Well, look, I first of all, I want to thank you. Are you a first-time caller, my sister?
Yes, I am.
Look, well, thank you. Where are you located?
Los Angeles.
L.A. Listen, I love L.A. Couldn't live there. Too damn expensive for me out there. But
L.A. Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You have to have a lot of roommates and figure it out.
Oh, I'm surprised that you haven't slapped me yet. Every time I see Jay, I've been saying, thank you, sir. And it's a lady. Why didn't you correct me?
I don't mind. It doesn't matter.
Okay, well, am I right or am I wrong? Is it ma'am or, I'm
a lady. I'm female. I don't really care. I mean, I'm. Let's get technical about it, since the Republicans want to know. I'm genetically a female, and I remain so.
That is a good one. Love you, girl. Thank you for calling and thank you for making my day. Okay.
Okay. Have a good one. Thank you. And thank you.
You too now. Thank you very much, Jay. I love my peeps, man. I just love my peeps. Okay, let me finish my quick story here. Unless somebody else want to call, I'd love to hear your call, 281-823-7747. So I'm at the KPFT station now. I feel all jittery, So one of my friends there, he says, let's go ahead and check your blood pressure. He puts a blood pressure machine on me and the damn blood pressure machine breaks. Okay? And yes, it breaks. And in other words, my blood pressure was too high for the machine. We kept on playing. That machine said my blood pressure was 280 over, I think it was either 240 or 280 over 140. I'd never seen a pressure like that before. Okay. So the guy said, we need to call the ambulance. And I'm like, no, listening to what Paul Fleming says, I'm like, no, ambulance costs too much. I am going to jump into my car and just go back to Kingwood, go to the healthcare place in Kingwood, the emergency room in Kingwood myself. Well, I started driving to Kingwood and then something tells me, turn around. I turn around. By the time I turn around, those suckers had already called the ambulances. Those guys at the station, they were taking those chances and they kind of knew I was going to come back. So I went there and then they tie me up. They put me in the ambulance, et cetera, et cetera. They give me oxygen. They kept taking my pressure. As I got more oxygen in, the pressure kind of went down. All right. When the pressure went down now, it turns out that I said, by the way, they said, where do you want us to take you? I figured they know where to take me at a hospital. They said, where do you? I said, well, I don't know. And then I said, by the way, how much is this going to cost? And they told, I think it was like 15. I don't remember how much it was, to tell you the truth. And then I said, and what about if I get out of here now? They said, well, we don't take you anywhere, it costs you nothing. I got the hell out of there. My pressure had gone to like something like 180 over 120. I said, okay, I'll leave. I went home. All right. I went to the emergency place myself in my car. So Paul Fleming, that is not something unheard of. A lot of people make the choices and say, I am not going to go ahead and pay for the ridiculous cost to get transported. And it's dangerous. I could have died. I could have stroked out on my way to the hospital. But that is the kind of system we live in today. That is the evil that is our healthcare system. Anyway, it's time for me to clock out of here. So before I go, I'd like to ask those of you who have the wherewithal to please support the program. And how can you support the program? First of all, the all-encompassing manner to support the program can be found at politicsdoneright.com/support. You click on that, baby. That gives you a lot of different ways in which you can support our program. But I am trying to build up my newsletter. I'm trying to get the newsletter to be self-sustaining of our entire operation. And that requires me to get anywhere between 15, 20, 2,000 subscribers. I'm only 10% of the amount of subscribers I need. So I'd like to ask those of you who have the wherewithal to go ahead and go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, and become a paid subscriber. It is less than a coffee. It's less than a coffee, but if we can get several hundred, it makes a difference. It'll reduce my 16-hour work week so that I can actually hire somebody part-time to do the social media, to do some other parts of what we need to get done. So if you have the wherewithal, please support independent progressive media by going to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter and become a subscriber. And I promise you get to read all of my books. All of my books. I have 5 books that are out there right now. 5 books. And I'm going to paste those on the screen. All of those 5 books you'll be able to read in the Substack, where the newsletter is. And any subsequent books that I write, you will be able to read them by subscribing to our newsletter. And we'll also be doing live feeds, and we'll also be doing, there are a lot of things that we have coming up for 2000. Okay. There are a lot of things that we have coming up for 2000 to kind of enhance your support for Politics Done Right. So again, please consider going to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter and becoming a paid supporter. A paid supporter, you'll get your emails, you'll be able to read the books and all of that. All right, folks, I got to get out of here. I want to thank all of you, love all of you. You guys are the PDR posse. You guys are the smartest folks, I tell you, out there. You keep me on my toes. I enjoy that. So, folks, thank you so kindly. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. You know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out!
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.